right screen. Hopefully my microphone is working tonight. I had to troubleshoot a little bit. So when y'all pop on board, I'll be counting on you to tell me if you can hear me or not. All right, guys, I'm seeing some people jump on board. If you happen to be watching this on replay and you wouldn't mind commenting replay in the comment section, it helps me kind of track to see what's going on. Hey, Casey. Hey, Karen. Guys, can you hear me okay with this microphone? I had to troubleshoot a couple things and hopefully I got it right this week. Yay, nay? Yes, you can hear me. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. All right, guys. Hey, Eric. Okay, we got these people coming on board. Guys, don't be shy. Jump on board. Give me a shout out. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and we're kicking it old school style. Let me know what's in your coffee mug this evening, or if you have something a little more interesting than just decaf coffee. We got Brian Bishop. Thank you, Brian. We got Harsh on board. Harsh, there's my man. Oh, yes, finally we can hear me fine. Good. Man, I've got some really nice equipment that my tech team set me up with, but y'all know me with technology. It can go a little screwy sometimes. Olga, ¿qué pasa, mujer? Good to see you. We've got, let's see, Eric is now in Florida. Sweet. Man, Eric, we got to see if you can be swinging by my clinic at some point. We got Damon on board. What's going on, Damon? We got Kenny Jones in Virginia Beach. We got Sandra. We've got, Karen with her V8 energy drink, sticking it with it healthy. Harsh from Richmond, Virginia. Mark S. I keep saying Mark B. It's Cosi B. Remember my question? Yes, Mark, I remember your question. And I'll actually answer that one first, Mark. That one's Casey's in Riverview, Florida, drinking Coke and rum. Casey, I hope your things are going well for you, man. We got Jeff. Jeff, I got your question right here for this evening. So stick around. Make sure you stick around from Iowa. We've got Richard Hall. Hey, Richard. We got, Pat's on board. Then all is well, Pat. Got your IPA with you. We got Milliam Mays, also from Richmond, Virginia, with water. Leanne, ice water. Lots of water on board from California. We got Reginald listening in on YouTube. Guys, this is awesome. Hey, I've got my YouTube channel running, so you guys can actually watch the live feed from the YouTube channel as well. Hey, Chris from Iowa with your Diet Coke. We got Dick Devers on board. Glenda in Seattle with her decaf coffee in her Cosi Talks mug. Cheers. Cheers, guys. I just checked my inventory before the show started because y'all have been ordering some more. I have 4 coffee mugs left on inventory. 4 left on inventory. So if you want to grab one before they're out, you can get one off of my CosiTalks.com website. So cheers to those of you who have my Cosi Talks mug. You're one of the cool kids. We got Brett Sykes on board. No coffee cup tonight. Okay, that's all right. We got Tom McIntyre. Hey, Tom. We got Mark's on board from Wisconsin. We got Molly Matthews in North Carolina. Molly, thank you so much for joining. We are going to be discussing your question this evening too. We've got Wang Helen from Delaware. We've got, let's see, Karen is from California. We've got all across the board this evening. We've got Benjamin Cortez. What's up, Benny? With water. Let's see. Steven's on board. Good. We got Steven on board. All right. We got a good crew on board. I am going to go ahead and get started, guys. Eric is drinking some cola. So, guys, you guys have been so wonderful about supporting me these past few months and helping me grow the show and get the word out. Truly appreciate it. I am a one-woman show with an amazing one-person tech team, which is amazing. So if you guys know of people who are trying to find the show that need information, feel free to go ahead and tag them in this feed. I'm not able to do it myself with this particular software. Or you can also encourage them to watch from YouTube if they're not particularly friendly with Facebook, if they don't like Facebook too much. Karen, can I send you a Cosi Talks mug for your birthday? Oh, Karen, that's awesome. We got John on board. Hey, John. Yeah, you got to get one. These are pretty nice little mugs here. We got OT. Yes, we've got a prosthetist in the house tonight, and we've got Andrea, the OT, in the house. We've got a good house tonight. All right, to my clinicians that are on board, thank you so much for joining, guys. I always appreciate input from my fellow clinicians, so please don't be shy because you know I'm going to pull you into it at some point. All right, guys. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time this evening, welcome. My name is Cosi Belloso. I'm a physical therapist, amputee specialist here in sunny Tampa, Florida. I've been a PT now for over 18 years. And my passion is working with the limb loss community. So I'm a happy camper. Y'all know I'm happy when I have like double-sided pages and like questions written in the margins because of all the questions that you guys have sent in. Ooh, and a fellow PT. Yes. Hey, Kristen, glad you could join in. Love it, man. So Gage says, I can't find the Facebook. Is it under Cosi Talks? Yes, Gage. If you go to Facebook and you type in the search engine Cosi Talks, mine should be the first one that comes up. But again, this is why I'm doing this also on YouTube, because I do know that some people have had some trouble finding me on Facebook. Speaking of which, yeah, where is Jody? Karen, we need Jody on board here. We got Jim here with St. Louis with the vodka tonic. Nice, Jim. So guys, as you're watching, Facebook alerted me to this option. There should be a little bell somewhere on your screen. If you hit that bell, and you can choose the option to be notified every time I go live. The reason why I mentioned this is because I've been getting a lot of folks, hey Gage, you found me, awesome. I've been getting a lot of folks who are asking, where's your feed? I can't find your feed tonight. So look on your screens, and I'll mention this throughout the show for my newcomers. Look on your screen. If you see a little bell, tap on that bell and it'll say, notify me when Cosi goes live. And then just makes it easier to find the show. Hey, Jeanette, glad you could join us. Linda took some of my awesome advice and teamed my PT and prosthetist. Linda, oh my gosh. So guys, many of you have asked me on the show, what happens when I can't find a physical therapist who's worked with amputees? Because there's not a whole lot of us out there, guys. And here's the thing, PTs, we're an ambitious bunch, man. We love to learn new things. We love to get out there, and we love a good challenge. So if you find a physical therapist who's not experienced with amputees but wants to help you, you got a gold mine right there. And the best advice I can give you, and it sounds like Linda took my advice, and I'm so happy about this, is to connect your physical therapist with your prosthetist. Okay, the way I see that team is the prosthetist builds the car, physical therapist teaches you how to drive the car. And they need to be working together as a team, even if the person knows a lot about amputees, okay? But the physical therapist, by trade, will have a phenomenal foundation on gait analysis, gait training, all the stuff that can go wrong in your body due to amputation, okay? They just might need some help learning the mechanics of the prosthesis that you're using, and that's where the prosthetist can be an invaluable tool here. And the two of them working together, you're gonna get some really good outcomes, guys, okay? So let's see some of this. Casey says, Cosi, my CPO Marco says he wishes he could join tonight, but he's still working. Oh man, that's what the replay is for, Casey, but I really appreciate it. Stephen, okay, so you got the little bell. Jody's on her way. Awesome. Frank, compadre, what's going on, man? I'm glad you could join us this evening. All right, so let's get started with this first question, because like I said, we got a lot of questions. Oh, and there's gonna be a giveaway tonight, so stick around. Justine says, thank you for all your sources and for the people who give their 2 cents. I'm able to relay information to my amputees and have made a reference binder for my clinic and patients. That is wonderful. Jody, all right, party can start. Jody's here. All right, so this message came in from Jeff. Jeff says, I'm having my right below the knee amputation on March 18th due to a car accident 12 years ago. My ankle was severely damaged. I'm working with a physical therapist right now, but my left leg also has nerve damage from the accident. Try as I might, I have not been able to balance on the left leg. I'm a big guy. I worry about being able to walk after surgery. Any suggestions? P.S. I love your show. Thank you, Jeff. And then Jeff also mentioned in there that he, after the accident, gained about 50 pounds and he's been able to lose 17 pounds. So Jeff, bravo to you for jumping on the ball early. How many of you out there were able to get him before you became, if you had a case similar to Jeff where you were anticipating an amputation, how many of you had the opportunity to do some research and learn about your amputation before it happened? So Jeff, I think you've been on the show a few times, and it's wonderful that you're getting some of this information. Now, I referred you actually to one of my favorite Instagram stars. I don't follow too many people on Instagram, but there's one in particular. Her name is Daniela Alvarez. She is a former Miss Colombia. I think from 12 years ago, I think was when she was crowned Miss Colombia. So she was already quite the celebrity and quite the presence in her country and in Central and South America. Pretty popular gal, beautiful woman. And unfortunately, about less than a year ago, she had a mass in her abdomen and she had to have surgery. And due to complications from the surgery, she had ischemia to both legs. Okay, so basically the blood flow was compromised to both legs. And it resulted in one leg undergoing a knee disarticulation, and her other leg had severe nerve damage. And it's a beautiful, I love how she posts everything very openly on Facebook, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. And Daniela is a perfect example of what happens to a lot of our amputees, where the amputated leg itself is not the biggest limitation. It's actually the intact, the sound leg. Okay. So in Daniela's case, she had that severe nerve damage on her intact leg. Okay, so what does this mean? Again, this is where your team approach really is so valuable. The physical therapist and the occupational therapist, because I'm going to bring my OT girl into this on this one as well. Okay, this is where we really get a chance to shine and help someone get their mobility back. Okay, so Jeff, I'm not sure about the specifics of the nerve damage that you have on your left leg, but if you look at someone like Daniela, she had what's called basically a drop foot. So come here, Bob. You're on, buddy. We have the nerves in our feet that control the muscles that keep our feet up, that prevent our feet from dragging on the ground and flopping around. So a lot of times when people have lower leg damage, they run a high risk of nerve damage, and they basically get what's called a drop foot. And it's exactly that. Your foot is dropped and it cannot pick itself up again. Okay. And big problems with that, obviously, with walking, being unable to clear your foot as you're swinging it through the air. Okay. And then as a result, because of the nerve damage, all those lower leg muscles, all the muscles inside of your foot, those tiny little muscles that kind of help you grip the ground, they also become very atrophied. And then on top of the problem that you can't clear your foot off the ground, you also run into problems with ankle instability because those muscles get so weak and atrophied. Okay. Now, good news is, and you can see this in Daniela's case, she has been using an AFO brace. It's called ankle foot orthosis, and there's several different kinds of ankle feet orthos braces. And basically, they're meant to hold the foot up. And in her case, I think she has a little bit of extra stability around her ankle area to keep her ankle nice and stable while she's walking. Guys, with a knee disarticulation on one side, nerve damage on the other side, this girl is riding bicycle. This girl is running. She's walking. She is dancing salsa. And as a fellow Latina, I'm like, go girl, you go get it. It's amazing. And what I really love, where you see me like cheering at a football game type cheering, is her physical therapy sessions. Okay. Physical therapists in Colombia, the physical therapists that I've met that have trained in Colombia and Argentina and Brazil, they have amazing skills. And you can see it in her physical therapy sessions. So I would actually encourage you to go visit her Instagram and scroll through some of her physical therapy videos. And you can see them strengthening her from head to toe to get her ready. They had to strengthen her core that much more to provide that much more support. Okay. And they had to teach her how to stabilize not only on her amputated side, but also on her side that had that nerve damage. So the process takes a little bit longer because obviously you're doing more to have to rehab that process, but it is very, very possible. And especially with some really good bracing that we have nowadays. And Jeff, in your case, it's very common, for folks to gain quite a bit of weight after their amputation because they're not moving around as much. But the fact that you started losing, and it sounds like you've lost a decent amount of weight. 17 pounds is a decent amount of weight for someone who's not walking normally. Okay. Keep going with that. Keep with your nutrition plan, keep with your exercise plan, and lose that weight. That's definitely going to help you when it comes time to start using that prosthesis. And Jeff, let me tell you, especially as a below the knee amputee, your below the knee side is going to become your strong side. And that is very possible. I see it a lot in my amputees, and I see my amputees have extremely active lifestyles. So yeah, and again, the fact that you have a physical therapist who's working with you on this, that's setting you up for success right there. All right, I had a lot of comments come in, so I'm going to go ahead. Jeffrey says, had just some water, been an eventful day. I know, Jeffrey, someone has been getting his bilateral sea legs. What's up, Jeffrey? We've got Roman on board. If anything is watching on a mobile device, there's a way to get notified there as well. Yes, thank you, Roman, for pointing that out. Like I said, I think it's a little bell icon that if you click and tap the little bell icon, it'll notify you when I go live. Let's see. Hey, Line Ball, say hello to Mama and Papa Gaz. Oh, love it, love it. All right, let's keep going through here. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling through a lot of these comments that came in. Jeanette says, mine is 2 years in the making, have done tons of research. Okay, Jeanette. So again, I see the folks who had an opportunity to research their amputation before they had to have it done. Again, just that much more knowledge. You can never be fully prepared, right? You can never be fully prepared for some of these traumatic events. But certainly knowing where you can find credible information and where you can find the support that you're going to need going into the amputation certainly sets you up more for success. And it's interesting, I gave a talk yesterday with Vitalfit on one of their free webinars that they're hosting, and my co-host Greg Menino, he's a prosthetist and an amputee himself, and a lot of our discussion was about the support, how that peer support is just so incredibly important before an amputation, during the process, the initial recovery process, and even years later. Stephen says, I had 2 weeks notice and I used it for research. Guys, I just got notice that 2 of y'all bought some coffee mugs. So thank you so much for that support. That means I'm down to 2 coffee mugs. So there we go. Gage says, after my right above the knee amputation, I only had 2 days of PT. And I hear that more often than not. More often I hear about people who didn't get PT or didn't get enough PT. And what I say to that, guys, is if the physical therapist, the occupational therapist, the prosthetist, these are all people that need to be in your Rolodex, showing my age there, right? These are all people that are going to be a part of your life for the rest of your life. Okay. As our bodies get older, even if you're not an amputee, a physical therapist or an occupational therapist is someone that needs to be in there helping you as your body gets older. And it's never too late to gain some of these skills back. Guys, one of the most beautiful examples I've had lately is my patient, Chris, that you guys have seen me posting videos on my Facebook page. He hasn't walked in 5 years. He never got physical therapy at all after his amputation. So he's been wheelchair bound for 5 years. And now, it's a lot of hard work, and he's got a long ways to go, but he's up and he's taking some steps with a walker now. So for those of you who didn't get the opportunity to work with a physical therapist, it's not too late, not too late. Brian says, I did research for 4 months prior, also continue on all pages, very valuable pages and information. Brett says, only 3 mugs left, actually 2 mugs left, Brett. Debbie says, I'm scared now. I have a mass in my abdomen. And Debbie, that's not, Daniela's case is one in not, I don't want to say 1 in a million, but it's not a common occurrence. Okay. In her case, it was one of those instances where it was completely unexpected. And again, Debbie, talk to your doctors. Going into any surgery is scary, and any surgery will have its risks involved. And having those conversations with your doctor and making sure your doctor is aware of your entire medical history, all the medications and everything that you're on, will help you for success there. Casey says, I did research for 1 month before amputation. Saying hi to Bob. All right. So Jeff says the nerve damage through the left leg and the foot is coming from the lower lumbar spine. So Jeff, you might be having some weakness further up in your thigh muscles as well. But again, Jeff, if there's extensive damage, for example, in the lower part of your foot, there's some really great bracing. Like I said, AFO, very simple bracing that can be used in the shoe. And again, I haven't had a chance to kind of see your muscle testing and see your scores there. And I know that your physical therapist is doing all of this. But the other thing also to consider, Jeff, nerves can regenerate. I believe the research still says up to 2 years after injury. After the 2 years of injury, you've pretty much regained whatever you're going to get back, maybe a little bit more as time goes on, okay? But if you're still less than a year out from your injury, and it sounds like, no, from 12 years ago. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Jeff. But the nerve damage there, that's something that if there's any muscle activity there, the therapist can start to strengthen that part. Hey, Kays, I'm glad you're here, lady. Glad you're here. How did your workout session go, Kays? Yes, I agree, Jeanette. Daniela, like I said, post her name. Yes, let me see if I can post her name. She's under, let's see, Alvarez TV. Like her handle is Daniela Alvarez TV. And hopefully she'll come up like when you search her on Instagram there. I think I got it right. You should hopefully find her. Beautiful blonde gal with green eyes. You can't miss her. she's gorgeous. Okay. Let's see. Mark says, I forgot your question. Okay. Sorry, Mark. I'm getting to it. So Mark asked me a question. He said, where did I get my name Cosi from? It's a really good question. Ironically enough, Cosi is my nickname. It is not my legal name. My legal name is Olga. That's actually my real name. My real name is Olga Maria. And we have 3 Olgas in my family, myself, my mother, and my maternal grandmother. Latinas do this all the time. We just keep the same name and we just come up with funny nicknames. So when I was very young, my mother called me Cosita, which means little thing in Spanish. So I'm the tallest woman in my family and they call me Little Thing. So the name just stuck. That's it. That's the story. All right. Let's see what else. Let's see all the other questions here. Let's see. Carol says, Cosi, hey, Carol, glad you're here. Very interesting about foot drop, and she must be very strong. Carol, she's amazing. She's amazing. And you look at her life prior to amputation, and you know, you definitely see how her habits, her athleticism definitely has set her up for success. She's obviously, you know, she's a very young woman. She's in her, I believe, early to mid 30s, I believe, so a very young woman. And you see her videos prior to amputation, and you just see how incredibly active she was. A phenomenal dancer. And you see where that muscle memory is still there. But you also see how hard she's worked. And like I said, whenever I see her physical therapy sessions, I'm like, yes, that's how it should be done, guys. That's exactly what they should be working on. And they're doing so amazing. And you see her trying these new things. So really great. Kay says, we'll get my date on Monday, new legs. Yes. And back to physio, learning to walk a 3rd time will be the charm. Absolutely, Kays. All right. Brett says, cool kids buy Cosi coffee mugs. I love it, Brett. All the cool kids are doing it. All right. Kay said, on Monday, I met with the prosthetist, OT, PT, doctors, and counselor. And that's how it should be done. That's how it should be done. Let's see. All right, guys, let me scroll through. Jody says, every time you get a new prosthesis, you can ask for physical therapy, just ask for a prescription. And not only that, Jody, but just anytime you're experiencing injury, anytime you're experiencing back pain, anytime you feel like you're experiencing weakness, okay, your insurance should cover these things. And what many people, myself included, guys, I have 2 physical therapists that I go to for my, you know, running. I do a lot of running and I've had 4 kids, so my body has taken a beating over the years. So I have my own physical therapist that I go to, but neither one of my physical therapists are on my insurance plan, and I pay out of pocket for them because they have the specialty and they have the skills that I need to keep my body healthy and running and pain-free. So sometimes, you know, especially, you know, the healthcare system is not a perfect one, not a perfect one. So sometimes we need to think outside the box to get it what it is that we need. So that's something to think about. Let's see. All right, let's move on to this next question, guys. Kay, oh, I'm so glad you're here, Kay. Good. Eric says, I had about 23 years to study and make preparations, and then I met Ronnie at POA Chattanooga. And man, you are in good hands there with Ronnie. He is awesome. Yes, it is in Spanish, guys. Sorry, I've been Daniela Alvarez. Like I said, she's the former Miss Colombia. It's all in Spanish. But again, you can see her videos, and the videos, you don't need to know Spanish to see what's going on in those videos and her amazing progress there. Olguita, yes. Okay, so let me get to some of these questions. Y'all are awesome with these questions right now. All right, so Patricia mentioned, my physical therapist gave me some exercises to do at home. One is to stand at the sink and do leg lifts forward and backward, okay, and to the side. I have no problem doing that with my prosthetic leg, meaning moving the prosthetic leg while standing on my good leg. But when it comes to standing on the prosthesis and lifting up my good leg, I can't do it. I am a left AK. Okay, so when I saw this, I go, I think that person might have a physical therapist who's not necessarily familiar with amputees, because that's kind of a very common issue. So in the case of this particular individual, She has a left above the knee prosthesis. So we're going to make Bob into a left amputee, okay? So what she's saying is that she can do her leg lifts, okay, when she's standing on her prosthesis. Excuse me. Now I'm the one who's getting mixed up. When she's standing on her good leg, she can lift her prosthesis and do the leg lifts forward, backwards, and out to the side, even though Bob's leg doesn't move out to the side. But then when she tries to stand on the prosthetic side, she can't balance enough to move, okay? And again, for my above the knee amputees, guys, I can count on two hands, the number of above the knee amputees that I know of that can stand just on their above the knee prosthesis without holding on to anything, okay? It is very, very difficult to do. Why? Because you don't have the lever arm of your bone and you're missing those muscles to stabilize, okay? So again, for my above the knee amputees, don't be hard on yourself if you can't stand on just your prosthesis, okay? So how do you get around this, okay? Because those leg lift exercises, they're nice, simple beginner exercises, okay? One way is simply to hold on to something, okay? So if I have my patients in the parallel bars and I have them practicing standing on just the prosthetic side, doing exercises with their other leg, simply holding on to the parallel bars and then making sure that they're engaging their glutes on the prosthetic side, okay? So if they're standing on the prosthesis here, okay, they just hold on to each side of the parallel bars and then making sure they're tightening up their glutes. And that way they're activating all the muscles on the prosthetic side. So there's many, many different ways on how you can modify a lot of these traditional physical therapy exercises to accommodate for a prosthesis, okay? Now, for my below the knee amputees, that's a little bit of a different story. I'm a little tougher on them. So depending on the person's fitness level and their strength, I might have them perform the exercises equally on both sides, because for my below the knee amputees, I expect a little bit more mobility, a little bit more strength and stability because they still have their anatomical knee. And even sometimes my knee disarticulations because they do have that nice long lever arm. Okay, so hopefully that helps out Patricia a little bit. Here's another question. Oh, wait, let me see. Hang on, scroll time. Oh, Karen, I like that song. I wish I could be like the cool kids. I like that. All right. Oh, Kristen. So Kristen, she's one of our physical therapists on board tonight, says you can also try for your insurance to cover prehab in the sense if you're expecting a major surgery to build up your strength and health prior to something major. Yes, and I do want to make a comment on that, Kristen, because that's absolutely true. Way back when dinosaurs walked the earth and I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to become a physical therapist, so I started volunteering in a lot of the clinics and in the hospitals in my area here in Tampa. And one thing I noticed in the sports clinic was that I worked at, we saw a lot of ACL repairs, a lot of ACL injuries and repairs. And we saw just as many people come in prior to their surgery as afterwards. And the same thing even with total hip replacements, total knee replacements. And unfortunately, those protocols of seeing a person before surgery have gone the way of the dodo bird, and it's really disappointing. But it's not to say it's not possible, okay? And Kristen is absolutely right. It's no mystery that the more a person can strengthen prior to surgery, the way Jeff is doing right now, the better their outcomes are going to be after surgery. It's kind of like one of those no-brainer things, okay? But unfortunately nowadays with insurance saying, well, you can only have a certain amount of visits per year and this and that and the other, guys, this is where I tell you to pick up that phone, call your insurance company and fight for it, okay? Fight for it. And have your physical therapist, have your doctor write those letters of medical necessity showing as to why you need that therapy prior to whatever surgery. And those of you who are facing the revision, okay? Unfortunately, sometimes that happens where you need to go in and have a revision and then you're knocked back down again for several weeks. Calling to have physical therapy for that is definitely warranted, So yeah, thank you, Kristen, for bringing that up. Steven's back. All right, Steven Schreidel. All right, here we go. No, Jamar, you didn't miss it. Karen says, I tried that and had pain with pressure on the prosthetic side. So again, guys, if you're trying to stand just on your prosthesis without support, That's a very, very challenging skill to do. And again, it's not something I would encourage you to do when you're first learning how to use your prosthesis, because you are putting a lot of pressure into that side and your muscles and your skin may not be ready for it just yet, okay? But again, depending on your level of amputation, that might be a skill that your physical therapist works with you. Hey, Stephanie from the YouTube channel, what's going on? All right. Eric says, I use the treadmill to work on my good leg and my prosthetic is on the side, and that also works. The butt muscles. Yes, Eric, yes. Tom says, I had 1 day notice before my right BK due to trauma. Yeah, and again, not as many people have the ability to know that their amputation is coming and do that research, and they're just sidelined with it from 1 day to the next. And Tom, you've become quite the helper in the community, Tom. So I'm curious, Tom, if you don't mind saying, did you have any help right away after your amputation in terms of peer support? Love it, Karen. Love it. All right. I think I'm caught up with the comments, so I'm going to grab another one of these questions. Okay. Jamar. Ooh, this was a good one. I pulled this one off of one of the websites, off one of the support groups. So Robin, before I start that, yeah, Robin says it's extremely difficult to stand solely on the prosthetic. And Robin is one of my, she's a star athlete and she's an above the knee amputee. So, and yes, so it is a very difficult, and it's interesting when I have athletes come in to my clinic or I work with any kind of athlete, I'll definitely kind of try out some things with them. And the single leg standing is always a challenge, always a challenge. Hey, Johnny V's in the house. Oh, another great day of skiing. Greg says that skiing is good for your butt muscles. It is. It gives you buns of steel. Skiing and physical therapy. Let me tell you, Johnny. All right, guys, I gotta pause for a moment here and put this in there. So, 2020, crazy year, COVID, got things a little bit late started this year with my sponsors, but I do want to make that announcement tonight. I am so thankful that I'm signed back on with Vitalfit Skincare. They are sponsoring the Cosi Talk Show once again this year, and I cannot thank them enough for their support. And those of you who have been with me for the past year, you've heard me talk a lot about Vitalfit, and actually, we'll be doing one of their giveaways. So Vitalfit, guys, it's the only skincare line out there, and it's a fully comprehensive. Let me rephrase that. It's the only fully comprehensive skincare line that was created specifically for amputees. Let me say that again. The only comprehensive skincare line that was created just for amputees. This is specifically made for your skin while you're wearing a prosthesis, while you're taking care of the skin on your other side, especially if you're diabetic or you have peripheral vascular disease. Guys, I cannot tell you how much of a game changer this has been for me as a clinician, because over the 18 years I've been practicing, all I could offer was drugstore remedies that, quite frankly, didn't work. Okay? So guys, I know there's several of you on here that have started using the Vitalfit skincare line. So I would encourage you, they're going to be on the show several times this year. And what I love is we're going to be talking a lot about skin issues this year on the shows that they're on. Now, if you're on my email subscription list, you should have already gotten the e-blast about announcing skincare, the Vitalfit skincare sponsorship, and also what they are offering for you. Okay. So yes, Vital Skin, they do rock. So I'm going to take the opportunity right now. And guys, thank you for hanging with me for this. I posted my website link. Go and sign up for my email subscription, guys, so that you can get this. Or go to my website and you can see Vitalfit under Cosi's favorites. You're going to see the link to their blog. And they have some really great information on this blog that they've started writing on really great topics. They have the free webinars, guys. Okay. So it's basically 2 more educational series a month that you can attend on Tuesday nights. It's on their calendar. Everything is on my website. Okay. Free webinars where it's myself, yours truly, and Greg Menino. And we do a lot of educational talks. And Greg Menino, those of you who know him, he's one of my favorite co-hosts on the show. He's a 22-time Paralympian, above the knee amputee himself, amazing prosthetist, and an avid skier. So we had a webinar last night where Johnny told his amazing story. Okay, so can't say enough nice things. Stick around till the end of this evening because we're going to be doing a little giveaway for their travel size for those of you who are curious as to whether this product is good or not good. It's good. All right, guys. I see a lot of your fans. A lot of fans here on the Vitalfit line too. Brett says cool kids buy Vitalfit too. I like that, Brett. Barbara's on board. There you are, Barbara. I was wondering where you are. Yes, Jeanette. And up until now, amputees did not have a specific skincare line. We had over-the-counter products like Cetaphil or Bag Balm or Vaseline or cocoa butter. And these are things that I would use on my patients when I worked in burn trauma units. And they worked great. But the problem is with an amputee, your skin is under basically a garbage bag all day long with that liner and that prosthesis. Okay, so the game changes there, and you have now issues with sweat, with odor, with friction, skin rashes. And again, this complete line, it comes with the cleanser, the daytime moisturizer, liquid to powder lotion, and night moisturizer. It's got everything you need in one line, and it's made for sensitive skin. Good stuff, guys, good stuff. But we're going to be talking more about that down the line as well. And guys, when you visit my website, okay, please take the time to watch the intro video there, because at the end of the video, there's a way you can enter a free giveaway of the full size products. Okay, it's like the end credit scene of the Marvel movies. You got to watch till the end of the video that I posted on there about them, and then you'll be able to get the information there. Okay, so yeah, so a lot of people here are big fans. Oh, great, Brett, thank you. Susan Walker, glad you could make it though. Karen, can you get your name in the drawing? Karen, if you follow the directions in the video, we will get your name for the drawing. Jeremy says Bob looks tired. Yeah, Bob's been, he's been working his stuff tonight, Jeremy. Hey, Patrick. All right, let's see. All right, so let's get on to this next question. This question came from Jamar, and he asks, what is the best socket for someone with a partial hip replacement on the same side as an above the knee amputation? Asking me because my socket, I can only wear it for a few hours of activity and it causes pain. Okay. So, and I know hopefully there was a prosthetist here on board this evening. Hopefully she's still here to listen in on this, because if she wants to chime in, I would love to hear from my prosthetist this evening. Okay, so this particular individual, again, very common thing that we see with amputees, that they have their amputated side, okay, and they have to have a joint replacement, whether it's the knee replacement or the hip replacement. Again, our bodies continue to age, and bodies after amputation do take a lot of wear and tear, okay? So the good news is total hip replacements and total knee replacements nowadays, surgeons can pretty much do them with their eyes closed. These surgical procedures are so commonplace, and the techniques are so advanced now with it, that the recovery process is very, it's much quicker than when it was just even 20 years ago, okay? And the outcomes are that much better. Now, with a total hip replacement, again, the focus needs to be on strengthening those glute muscles, right? The range of motion comes back fairly easy, but for an above the knee amputee, you have to take into consideration the front hip flexors, right? Because in our above the knee amputations, those front hip muscles, those front, down to one coffee mug, guys. Apparently I'm down to one coffee mug now. This is awesome. Okay, so with our above the knee amputee, those muscles that are in front of the hip get very tight. Okay, so those are certain considerations you have to take into account if you are having a total hip replacement on this side. You really got to watch the tightness here and really work the strength here. But that's what you had to do even after you had your initial above the knee amputation. So for my above the knee amputees, this will hopefully be a similar rehab process that they're already familiar with. Okay. Now, as for the socket, pain in the socket is always a no-no. Always a no-no. Okay. Sockets can be a little uncomfortable at times, can have a little discomfort as a person's getting used to using it. Okay. Pain, no. So if this individual is having pain, they definitely need to evaluate the socket. And there's not necessarily one specific socket that I am aware of that is meant specifically for someone who's had a total hip replacement, okay? Like any socket, someone with a total hip replacement is going to need support, okay? So they need to be able to have containment of their ischium as much as possible. The higher up that socket goes, the better their stability will be. Okay. So that's what I would encourage someone who has a total hip replacement on that side, is really making sure that they get those trim lines as high as they can tolerate. And I know that that's always a big issue with folks because it's right up there in that groin area. But trying to get those trim lines and get that ischium, that butt bone, into the socket as much as possible, because that's going to help give you that support and stability along with aggressive strengthening of those gluteal and hip muscles. Okay. All right, let's see. Susan says, that's what happened to me. I'm a below the knee amputee and broke my hip on my prosthetic side. Jeanette says, are there days or times that the leg doesn't hurt? I mean, right now I have chronic pain. Will I still have pain after surgery? And Jeanette, so it sounds like you're going to have that amputation surgery soon. And Jeanette, I don't have the answer to that. I really don't. And I really wish I did. And if anybody would like to chime in with their own experiences, this would be a really great time to do it. So how many of you, had a prolonged period before your amputation, somebody who had an injury and you spent several years trying to save the leg before you did the amputation? Did your chronic pain go away? And Jeanette, I've had equal answers. I've had equal answers, people who said yes, that the amputation took away that chronic pain. And I've had some people say that the pain came back in the form of phantom pain. Okay. I will say this, Jeanette, and again, this is not any literature or any official statistics that I'm quoting to you. This is just me with my experience, 18 years in the field. Folks who get on their mobility have better success when it comes to managing chronic pain. And this also goes for folks who had pain for a long time before they had their amputation, okay? And those who are experiencing the phantom pain symptoms, okay? The sooner they get into their prosthesis and start that rehab process and getting their mobility back as much as they're able to do with the help of their team, okay, I've seen that they have better outcomes. Okay, so while I cannot make that prediction, Jeanette, and again, this would be a really great question to really, really talk about this with your surgeon, because your surgeon obviously knows your case and what's going on with your particular leg to tell you, where is that source of pain coming from? And will that amputation, in fact, help with that chronic pain issue? Okay. Oh, Andrea just bought one. You're a cool kid now, Andrea. Strengthening and alignment. Thank you, Molly. So there's my prosthetist right there chiming in from North Carolina. So thank you, Molly, for that. So going back to the gentleman who has the total hip replacement on the same side of his above the knee amputation. So strengthening of those glutes and alignment, making sure that that socket is aligned properly, making sure that that knee and foot underneath it are aligned properly. Definitely, Molly. Thank you. Susan says, I'm not allowed to bend over 90 degrees. It's uncomfortable and when I do for extended periods. So yes, after you have a total hip replacement, there are certain movement protocols that you have to follow. The biggest one is you cannot bend forward more than 90 degrees. That usually only lasts a few weeks to actually no. Depending on the surgeon, guys, and it's been a little while, but it's been, anywhere from 3 to 6 months that you might be on these movement protocols. But that's, again, where your physical therapist comes in, because we teach you how to do all of your movement, how to get out of bed, how to get out of a chair, how to do the walking, everything that you need to do, and occupational therapy, while observing these movement protocols, okay? Lori says, I'm a left above the knee with a very short bone, only about 5 inches. That's not very long. I have an ischial-radial containment socket, and I can wear it for 12 hours without problems. Lori, that's the holy grail right there, guys. That's the holy grail. More than the fanciest microprocessor knee, the fanciest microprocessor feet and ankle, and bionic and myoelectric, and I don't know what else they got out there nowadays with technology. More important than all that is your socket comfortable? And Lori, you are the perfect poster child for that, because someone who has a very, very short AK side is a challenge to fit in a socket very comfortably. It's a challenge. So for them to have fit you and you're comfortable and you're hanging out there for 12 hours in your socket without a problem, That's amazing. And that's wonderful. And that's how it should be, guys. That's how it should be. Okay. So props, Lori, to you, because I know also that you have to be on your strengthening in order for that to be successful. You have to be strong with those glutes, but then your alignment and your prosthetist and your socket has to be key. So I think I want the name of your prosthetist, Lori. Stephen says, my chronic pain is gone. Losing my leg was a godsend. Karen says, I had sores and I was in so much pain, but it went away when I became an amputee. Kay says, 29 surgeries prior to the amputation due to CRPS. Much better after my amputation, but now there are some other things, but different and better. Rhonda says, my pain went away with the amputation. I did experience phantom pain, less now. Okay, Jeanette, and I think this is where this is why I'm so glad you guys are posting this, because whatever I say from my experience cannot measure to what you all have been through yourselves firsthand. And that is one thing I do see, Jeanette, is that there is some phantom pain, and for the most part, it does start to resolve a little bit over time and with mobility. Charles says, yes, the pain went away. Casey says, as working under a CPO for a few years and studying to become a prosthetist assistant, I would say no to a certain socket. Yep. However, I would say stretch as much as possible and have those trim lines as high as possible for support. As Cosi said, your socket should never be painful, and very little pain in the beginning, but not a lot of pain. Jill says, cancer amputation removed that pain, but a whole new set of challenges being an AK. Jeffrey says, bilateral AK. Andrea said, only took 56 years to be a cool kid. Welcome, Andrea. I'm still trying to be a cool kid. I'm still trying to learn how. Let's see. All right, let me make sure I got all these. Y'all are so good. And guys, for those of you who are new, if I'm missing any of your questions or any comments that you want me to pay attention to, don't be shy. You can send me an email through my website. You can send me a message through my Facebook Messenger. You can send me a message through my Instagram account. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm under Cosi Talks and all the different social media platforms. So if I've missed your question or I missed your comment, please feel free to send it to me, or you can actually tag me, because that's another great way. I do like to review these comments after the shows are over. So Benny says, today went to get fitted for a new socket, got a new foot, and also a new shoe filler. You are set up and ready to go, Benny. Yes, Jeffrey, big challenge, and I cannot wait to see you rocking it on those legs, because you just tear around on those stubbies like it's no one's business. Jeanette says, I feel better knowing that there is hope. There is hope, Jeanette. There is hope. And you have to have the right team around you. You cannot do it by yourself. It takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to beat cancer, and it takes a village to overcome amputation and to recover from it. So make sure you have that good, strong village around you, Jeanette. Let's see. Patrick says, I had a socket for almost 12 years because it was the most comfortable I've ever had, because I never quit with my CPO until we got it close to perfect. And that's something that we talk about a lot on the show, guys. Those of you who are having problems with your socket, don't give up. Don't give up. On last night's webinar, Johnny, if you're still on here, Johnny, you better still be on here. You and Greg better still be on here. Don't skip out on me, right? Johnny, how many prosthetists did you have to go through before you found the prosthetist that really made you that comfortable socket? It was a lot. Johnny's been an amputee for 18 years, so hopefully he'll put that answer in the comment section. Okay. And guys, it's not to say that, it just, sometimes it takes several trips to the same prosthetist, especially a prosthetist who's willing to work with you and go back to the square one to help you get that comfortable fit. Okay. Same thing with the physical therapist, guys. Physical therapist who is not helping you meet your goals, who's not listening to what your goals are with your mobility, who's not providing you with education, time to get a different therapist. Okay. Thanks, Brett. Greg, you rock, man. Couldn't do my job without prosthetists like you, Greg. All right. So we've got, Tom says, suffered chronic pain for 2 weeks while they were trying to save my leg. And as soon as I had the amputation, I was pain-free. Now it can bother me once in a while, depending on what I do, like running a marathon. It's different pain and very tolerable. Running a marathon. Look at this guy. Jeffrey, and again, if my prosthetist wants to chime in here, I would love to have the support on this one. Jeffrey says, what are some differences between a suction liner socket to a skin fit suction socket? So my very basic understanding, Jeffrey, the skin fit suction socket, this used to be much more popular, much more seen back in the beginning of my career. I know Greg wears one of those as well, where basically it's your skin going into the socket. No liner, nothing in there, going right into the thermoplastic. It's kind of like almost like pouring Jello into the mold. It just goes right into there, okay? Versus now these flexible inner liners that you see that it looks like it's a part of the socket, okay? And it's almost meant to be a part of that socket. It's very, very closely fit in there to add just that little extra layer of comfort and protection. But skin fit sockets, suction sockets are still, I know there's one clinic I heard about in the Midwest, I don't know, that they still do this particular socket. If it's done by a skilled prosthetist, it can do a very good job of fitting the person. The downside to it is that your skin does take a bit more of a beating because you don't have that flexible liner in there to provide it with the cushioning. So you need to protect your skin a whole lot more. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that. If my prosthetists want to join in and chime in and say something else about that, that would be great. There we go, Greg, thank you. Better proprioception with the skin fit suction socket. Johnny says he went through 5 prosthetists, guys. 5 prosthetists. And Johnny right now, he is shredding it on those slopes with Greg. Mach 3 with his hair on fire. Very active individual, okay? But he had to go through 5 prosthetists before he finally found the prosthetist that could make him that forever socket for him, okay? Wafa says, I have a graveyard of test sockets. My prosthetist, she keeps on doing test socket until I have the right fit socket. Thank you, Wafa, for saying this. This is another beautiful individual. She's been on my show. Can't wait to have her on it again someday. Who's been through a lot. And Wafa, I know that you can comment on a lot of the comments here tonight. But basically, you have to go through several sockets in many cases. It's very rare, guys, that I run into someone who says, yep, I had 1 or 2 test sockets and then that's it. We were good. I had the right fit. Very rare, okay? And the fact that you have to go back to keep getting your socket adjusted, redone, it does not mean that your prosthetist does not know what they are doing. It's the opposite. It means your prosthetist recognizes that your body is constantly changing and they are helping you and wanting to get that perfect, comfortable fit. I wanted to add that. All right, guys, I am officially out of coffee mugs. I got my last notification of my coffee mugs. So guys, to the 4 of you who bought coffee mugs this evening, thank you so much for your support and cheers to you. Hey guys, actually, now that I have a nice crew of you guys on board, can you guys do a quick poll for me? I would really appreciate this. I would love to reorder coffee mugs and do the Cosi Talks coffee mugs because, you know, it's my thing. But I'm also thinking of ordering the glass mugs, the kind that you pour beer into for like the ice drinks. Can you guys tell me which one you would want more, the hot coffee mug or the cold ice drink? I don't even know what you would call them. Glass mug thing. Can you guys put that in the comment section? I want to know. This is just me being curious. All right, let's get back to these comments. Chuck here. Oh, great, Chuck. And guys, we got a few people on YouTube. So Jeffrey says 5 prosthetists for him as well. Let's see. Greg says, if the user can tolerate the skin fit suction, liners give you a bit more padding from the pressure. And that's definitely a part of it, is you have to be more on the ball with your skincare. And this is actually, Greg, if you don't mind my saying, this is how Greg started using these products. In his case, he uses that skin fit socket. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having a hard time pronouncing that this evening. And he was having problems with his skin, and this particular skincare line took care of all of that. And this guy goes skiing. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Steven says he never had a test socket. Perhaps that's the issue. Yeah. And Steven, I'm going to get back to you. You sent me an email earlier today, and I do have some answers and some thoughts for you on that. So I'll be getting back to you as well. Jeanette, am I getting more mugs? Hopefully if I get some of the resources that I need, I'll be able to order some more mugs. Oh. So Jody says a stein. Harsh says hot coffee mug. Mark says glass. Greg says coffee. Beer stein. That's what I was thinking about. Yes. Daniel says beer stein. Coffee mugs. It's an even split. Mug, mug, mug. Beer mug. Coffee mug. Hot coffee mug. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Johnny says, do a new generation of drinkware, drink glass mug thing, cold drink blood, pint glass. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, thank you guys, because if I order these mugs, it's going to be for you guys. So I want to order what you guys want. Karen says, while listening, I did try to balance on my prosthetic leg, and it is hard. Careful, hang on to something there, Karen. Yes, it is a shot glass. There's Jeff, shot glass. That's hilarious. See, I can't do shots on the show, Jeff. Well, actually, I probably could, and the answers would probably be that much more interesting. Oh, Theo. So glad you're here. Oh. Let's see. Put Bob on the beer stein. Oh, that's hilarious. Get both. Wine glass. Love it. Okay. Back to the questions. Okay, this one right here, this is the one that I really, really was looking forward to answering this evening. This one came in from one of my prosthetists that has been watching the show. She says, I have a bilateral amputee, transfemoral, transtibial, or above the knee and a below the knee on the other side. His therapist and I have a question. When we stand this gentleman, he says he does not feel the above the knee side under him, that he feels the floor through the prosthesis with the transtibial side, but not the transfemoral side, okay? That he doesn't have any proprioception under that transfemoral side until he places his foot out to the side, okay? About a foot out. He states he feels the support of the transfemoral prosthesis. He's got a very short limb. We know he's putting weight through the prosthesis. Could he be so focused on his transtibial side that he's ignoring the transfemoral? Okay, so let's just recap that, because that was a lot. So basically, this individual is a transfemoral on one side and a transtibial, well, I'll just hold it right here, on the other side, okay? And what the prosthetist and the therapist are noticing is that he does not feel his prosthetic foot on the above the knee side. He feels it. He feels his prosthetic foot on this side, right? Because he's got that proprioception that's redeveloping. But the only way he can feel here is when he sticks his leg out to the side. Okay. So actually, you hit it on the head. Yes. The fact is, his transtibial side, his below the knee side, is his stronger side. So that's the side that's been getting most of the weight compared to the above the knee side. So he's been feeding that side information. He's been improving the proprioception on that side. Okay, so guys, remember, those of you who have seen my proprioception talk, it's on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, that's probably my most popular talk. My hallmark Cosi talk is the talk on proprioception. It's the ability of your body to know where it is in space. And the way we develop our proprioception is by feeding our brain with our visual, eyes, vestibular, inner ear, and proprioceptors. It's like little Pac-Men that are located in our muscle fibers. And all of this information gets fed into our brain to let our brain know where our body is in space. So that's why for all of you who've had an amputation, when you first put that prosthetic foot down, you didn't know where that foot was going. Your body and your brain had to learn proprioception all over again. And in the instance of our bilateral amputees, well, obviously they have even more of a challenge. Jeffrey, I know you can attest to that here. Okay. Now, when you have a bilateral amputee that is uneven, meaning you have one side that's longer than the other, which is many of them, okay, the longer side becomes the stronger side. And that's the side that's going to carry more of the weight. So it's getting more of that proprioceptive input. So to this prosthetist, I would say you need to start working that proprioception. And guys, I'm going to type in another one of my favorites. Okay, if you go to YouTube and you go hit Mission Gate Cosi. Thank you, Theo. Oh, you just posted that. You are wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So Theo, she's so lovely. She posted the video on proprioception off of my channel. So thank you so much for that, Theo. If you guys want to right click and save that one for later. But also on YouTube, you're going to want to check out Mission Gate Cosi, right? And there's a series of 3 foundational exercise videos that I give pretty much all of my amputee patients. And one of them, the focus is definitely on improving proprioception. Okay, so Molly, what I would do with your patient is I would definitely put them in this position, really see what's going on with the weight distribution. Okay, the fact that your patient has to put their foot out to the side, it means that they're trying to find that proprioception, especially if they have a shorter limb. Another little trick, and I didn't bring my knife with me. Yes, I did say knife. Hang on, guys. 1 second. I'm going to bring my violin bow because this is all I could find lying next to me. Okay, so guys, when I have someone who's having a tough time with proprioception, their ability to feel that prosthetic foot underneath them, I will whack their foot. I know it sounds really funny. So what I do is I put them in the position where they're in equal weight bearing, okay? Equal weight bearing in the parallel bars, they feel supported, they feel safe. And I'll get a butter knife because it's nice and heavy on the end, or sometimes my reflex hammer, that hammer that we use. I think my kids were playing with it. I can't see it right now. The reflex hammer, it's what we use to check reflexes. And what I'll do is I will whack the person's prosthetic foot. It's kind of funny, especially when you see people in the clinic who don't know what I'm doing and they just see me whacking away at this person's prosthetic foot. But what's that doing is it's creating vibrations in the foot that go up the pylon, and the person can then feel it in their residual limb. Okay. And I'll place the foot in different positions and whack the foot and whack the toe so that they start to get a feeling of where their foot is in space. And believe me, it's like, it's a really cool little hack. When I start doing that to someone, all of a sudden you just see them go, oh my gosh, I feel that foot. Now I know where it is in space. Okay. So Molly, that's something that would probably be very helpful to this particular individual. Okay. And the other thing, Molly, if the person is resting their foot out to the side, it could be check the external rotators, especially in my above the knee amputees. Check to see if they're external rotators. And guys, the external rotators are located deep within your butt. So basically, right underneath all your gluteal muscles, you have your muscles that help with external rotation of the hip. And those of you who have a very short residual limb might have more of a tendency to have tightness in that area. So Molly, I'm just taking a wild guess here. It might be that's why this individual is kind of keeping the foot out to the side, maybe. So check the external rotators and see if that needs to be kind of worked on just a little bit there. But yes, keep hammering the proprioception with this individual. They will eventually get it. Check out those videos. Check out those videos. All right, let's see. Toothpick holder for the shot glass. I like that, Jim. I like that. Oh, Mark got a socket sock. Yes, he got an awesome design. The Who. I love it. Let's see. All right, making sure I'm getting all these comments. Chris says the knife is better than the bone saw. Oh my gosh. He said it. No, guys, true story. There was a patient that came in that I did. And the thing is, I share my clinic space with my colleagues' patients, and he does sports therapy. So when his patients come in, they don't necessarily know that I'm working with an amputee, especially if my amputee is wearing long pants. And I was whacking away at this guy's foot with the butter knife, and he was wearing pants. And then the other patients are looking at me like, we don't want her. We know we'll stay with this. It's kind of funny. Sorry. Funny moments as a PT. Carol says, Mission Gate is wonderful. They have a lot of good talks about amputation. Let me tell you what, man, that Mission Gate channel is a wealth of information for both clinicians and patients as well, amputees as well. Molly says, getting a violin bow. Actually, Molly, I wouldn't recommend the violin bow because it'll crack. This is good for when you're trying to get kids in order. No, I'm kidding, but not so good. So butter knife or reflex hammer. Those are my 2 favorite weapons of choice right there. All right, Ray. Oh my gosh, Ray, it's been a while, man. I'm glad you're here. Thank you, Theo, for posting that. Thank you. Theo went ahead and posted the link for me right there. That's awesome. Karen says, I can balance holding on with just my fingers. Karen, you're cracking me up. All right, I got one more question here, guys, and this is a good one too, so stick around for this one. Ooh, I did say I was going to do a giveaway, didn't I? Should we do the giveaway now? Let's do the giveaway now. All right, guys. For those of you who already know, let's, okay, ready? Go to my website. I have a discount code for Vitalfit. First person to type in the discount code gets a free travel size kit. Go. Who's going to be my quick draw McGraw this evening? Jeopardy theme song. There we go. Kay. Cosi 10. Harsh, you're a second. You're almost there, Harsh. All right, guys. Yes. So Cosi 10. There we go. They all just came up on board. Cosi 10 is my discount code. If you use Cosi 10, you get $10 off. And guys, these are already very reasonably priced for being such high-end skincare products. But with $10 off, you can get the travel size kit for $10. Okay, so if you're curious and you're just like, I don't know if I want to buy the full size bottle because I'm not sure if it's going to work for me, or I don't know which ones, I recommend using all of them, but some people, they only need certain products. So if you want to see which products work best for you and for what you need in your prosthesis, grab a travel kit size, guys. It's a great way to get started. And then you can move on to the larger bottles once you fall in love, because you will. All right, guys, Cosi 10. Oh, Susan says, I didn't even try because I'm slow on my phone. All right, Kay. Kay, after the show's over, my dear, please send me your address so that I can get this out to you. All right, guys, last question for the evening, and this is a good one. This is a good one. This one comes from Jana. Jana has a history of not having walked for 18 years since her above-the-knee amputation. And she also has a total hip replacement on the side of the above the knee amputation. Okay. She says, now that she is starting to walk, she was been fit for a prosthesis and starting to walk, her big toe on the top of her foot on the sound side is starting to hurt. She said, I've had that problem since I started walking in June, and I've had the foot x-rayed before I broke my hip, no fracture. I thought maybe it was related to my shoes. The toe is not red. However, the top of the foot is red with a bruise in that location when it first started hurting during my recovering time from the total hip replacement, and it got better when I was in recovery process, but it just started hurting again with walking. So let's just recap, okay? This particular individual was not able to walk for 18 years after her above the knee amputation, okay? So now that she's been fit for a prosthesis and starting to walk, her sound foot is hurting on the top part. And it stopped hurting when she had to have surgery. So when she was basically off her feet again, and started hurting again when she started the recovery process of walking. So here's a couple of things to consider, guys. And this is something that, this is why taking a history on your patient is so important. And it's so important for you all when you're going in to see your physical therapist, your clinicians, your surgeons, whoever it is, that you give us as much information as you possibly can, okay? So when this individual started asking me this question, she didn't tell me the part about not walking for 18 years. So thankfully, in asking her some follow-up questions, I got that piece of information, and that basically sets the stage for answering this question, okay? When you're not walking, when you're not putting weight into your legs, into your bone is going to start losing density, okay? Many of you already know this because you're experiencing bone loss on the side of your amputated bone, okay? So your bone needs to have stimulation with weight bearing in order to create new bone cells, right? So for this individual to not have walked for 18 years, that's considerable bone loss, okay? So in her case, I'm very glad that she got an x-ray, because if these bones are weak and then she starts standing on it and walking, she could be at a risk for fracture. Could be, okay? And more so because that sound leg is taking on all of her body weight as she learns how to use the prosthesis, right? It's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that's going on to that leg. Okay. Second thing, so she had an x-ray done and thankfully no fracture. So why is she having this redness on the top part of her foot? And she showed me a picture and it was like a little bit of a redness and bruised area. Again, I made recommendations for her to go back to her doctor to have a little bit further follow-up done there. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if you're standing on that leg for the first time in 18 years, okay, those muscles are also going to be weak, which means you are not going to have strong supportive muscles around your hip, around your knee, and around your foot and ankle. So what's going to happen is you're going to start to try to compensate. And one thing that you see a lot when people are weak is that they flare their toes up. So if she's flaring her toes up and she's not doing a nice normal gait pattern with her foot, that's going to create some friction on the top part of her foot with her shoe. And that could explain why she's having that bruise in that particular area. Okay. It could also be that underneath that as well, she's got a little bit of a tendonitis going due to muscle weakness. Okay. So guys, for those of you, and I know there's a few of you out there, those of you who are getting back into the walking game, especially if you've been off your feet for a really long time. Again, this is where you need to have that close conversation with your doctors to see if you need a bone density test to see how your bone density is doing so that you don't run the risk of a fracture, okay? Or run the risk of a sprain or a strain because those muscles have atrophied and they need to be strengthened in order to support you. And again, this is where the PT and the OT really come in with these tactics to help you get strong so that you can walk safely. Okay, so this was a really interesting one. It was really, and again, it was interesting on many different sides of, as a clinician, saying you got to really pay attention to that patient history and ask as many questions as you can to get the full story on what's going on. And then also on the other side, tell your clinician as much as you can. Give them as much information so that they can help you. Okay, sounds good? Steven says, I just tried to flare up my toes on the missing leg. Yeah, and I mean, think about it when you're, if you're weak or you have injuries, and we've said this several times on the show, no matter what's going on, your body's going to try to compensate and move in a way. It's going to try to keep you moving, but it's going to make you move in a way that is not the normal movement pattern. And you're going to have compensations. We see it all the time in amputee gait patterns, right? All right, guys, this has been a really, really fun show. Thank you again to those of you who bought me out with my coffee mugs. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to start hunting for some new fun designs for you guys. And so congratulations to the cool kids. Those of you who don't have a coffee mug yet, no worries. We'll try to get some more stuff out there. Thank you again, guys. Take a moment, sign up for my email subscription. There's a lot of good information I put in there. And the thing is, with my email subscription, I put everything in there. So all of my videos from all of the different social media platforms. So in case you're not sure where to find stuff, just sign up for my email. I promise you, I don't bombard your email inbox just once a week with a once a week email. And also people who are on my email subscription, they get first pick when it comes to giveaways and announcements and things like that. So when you get a chance, sign up for my email, visit my website, take a look at all the goodies that Vitalfit has to offer right now with their webinars, with their blog, with the discounts, all the fun stuff, and all the fun shows that we're going to be doing starting with the end of this month on March 24th. All right, guys, I am going to sign off. You guys are so much fun. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of your lives this evening. I will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.